What's going on, y'all? This is Koi. For those that don't know, I haven't been doing many videos lately, but I've been really getting my life together and creating things that bring me joy like this, but also separating my healing journey with my business. Because I'm a creative healer, I feel that some things kind of got lost in the sauce, and I just had to do something a little bit different with my business. So that's that. If you are looking to find out my new program, I'd love for you to check it out at soulcreativebrand.com. But, it's a link in the bio. But if you're here for the ancestral reading, I hope that this message is great for you. Let me turn this down. And it finds you some type of peace of mind. Our ancestors, especially our healed ancestors, definitely bring like a lot of wisdom towards our entrepreneurial journey. And as a strong believer of feeling soul called to business and the spiritual path of entrepreneurship, this is a message that I really wanted to come through. A lot of my messages are because I'm channeling something through that needs to be said to some other people. And because I don't see you guys, I want to put this out. So whoever comes across this, I know this message is for you. And use your discernment. What may resonate with you may not. All right? Let's get into these messages. So let's talk about what the ancestors want us to focus on, okay? I'm going to talk a general message, and then I'm going to get more specific into business and relationships, because what are we without other people, right? So let's see. The first message that wants to come through here. Okay, these are a lot. I'm not going to pick all of them, but looking under the deck, we have the gift, which is very interesting. Okay, thank you. Okay, fun. So a lot of you that, like, some of you really been like tapping into things that are more seen from a black and white perspective instead of the color, the whole spectrum, honestly, and seeing things more of a whole instead of, A or B. And some of y'all just been working too damn hard, okay? Is this in camera? I hope so. Is that in camera? Let's go. So, yeah, let's get into this one. Okay, saying 2 cards right now for the ancestral. So, what are we talking about here? 2 of Cups, which is interesting. And then we have the Queen of Cups. Okay, so right off the back, there's been some emotional blockages going on here. And I do think that the ancestors want you to have, for some, a better relationship with them. So that way you can actually understand certain traditions. So you can actually start having certain rituals that you do before you actually take heed to your business or start working on certain things in your business, right? And rituals don't always have to look like the rituals that they did, right? You can also create it and put your spin on it. It really depends. But it all depends on, one, are you talking to your healed ancestors? Because some of them, with all due respect, I just want to keep it funky. Some of our ancestors are raggedy, okay? And I'm saying raggedy because they're still healing through their own journey. We're in the ancestral realm, wherever they're at, right? And when we leave this life, this planet, this physical form, we're still going on spiritually to do things that we need to do unless we get called back here, okay? And when we get called back here, we're still trying to figure out some of these lessons depending on what these soul contracts we signed, right? And some of the ancestors, like I said, with all due respect, I won't call them raggedy, but they are sometimes like your raggedy friends, or the friends that are just low-key jealous because they don't have the accessibility to resources or the drive that you have, and is caught up in their emotions so much that they're not able to even see their own gifts, right? And they're mad that you're gifted here, and here you are trying to do right by some of your friends, and it's just like, it ain't your fault. It's not your fault. I'm definitely hearing Master P's, isn't that song called It Ain't My Fault? Did I do that? It ain't my fault. Yo, that song is mad old. If anybody knows that song, please comment below, because I didn't even listen to Master P. That is so funny. So, anywho, it's not your fault. And sometimes you are super sensitive to energy, right? My baby empaths and this and that. And depending on where you're at in this healing journey, you can still be perceiving your own energy. Let me say it this way. You could be perceiving someone else's energy as your own. That's what I'm trying to say. And a lot of times it can be a long journey just to learn that, because I know it was for me. And a lot of times I have to pause and reflect on my energy to even be like, okay, yeah, this is definitely not my energy still. Because like some people just get it instantly, once they get that lesson. But others, sometimes you're just super sensitive. Sometimes every ceiling that you're breaking, you're becoming even more sensitive and learning more things, right? So it really depends. And for the longest, I think that a lot of this empathic energy, this sensitivity has kept you crippled and saying F everybody else, right? And I want to find the best way to feel safe, which is being alone. And that's not 100% true. It's not 100% true. I want to look into this book. I love these cards. I've always loved these cards, and they were just very near and dear to me when oh wow, hold up, y'all. I don't even use these cards, and this was already in here. This is very interesting. Unless I used them a long time ago and I forgot, which y'all. I love how spirit surprises me. So let's just get right into this card, right? Because these cards aren't per se the actual Rider-Waite-Smith deck. They're a little bit different, and they tap into the Orishas. And when I was connecting with my great-great-grandfather that visited me very sporadically, it kind of took me down a little rabbit hole of the Orishas and things like that. Come to find out, he was very into this type of stuff. So needless to say, the Two of Cups, right? While the Orisha may choose to help anyone, like people, they often are swifter for those who show care and devotion to them. Here we find the power of reciprocal relationships. When approaching the Orishas, many people often take a transactional approach, like they can buy what they want. Sometimes it could be, sometimes it can't be. So we have here like gifts from the loving person or spirit, lasting love relationship, asking for what you need, and the rewards for the past deeds. I honestly want to just say this. A lot of people do take that road. I have learned that it doesn't have to be transactional. And a lot of times just actually building the connection of a relationship with spirit is the same for me. Maybe not for everybody else, but for me, as I have done for a friend. My friendship type of perspection, I can't even talk. My perspective on friendship has ran deep to the point where a lot of people just never really saw friendships like that. And when I was going through a release of friendships that just were very lopsided, and I was just like, I'm tired of this type of relationship, I had to realize how much I honor relationships, especially friendships. And people just don't have the emotional capacity that I do. And I got mad. Like, the friends that I had were like 10 plus years, 15 plus years. And it was just like, yeah, no, because every time that I bring up certain things or have certain conversations or speak my truth, there's a problem and someone is feeling offended. And if you've known me for that long, you know that I'm not coming for your head and trying to offend you. So what's wrong with you, right? And stop blaming me for being me. That's what I had a problem with. So I had to, but over the years, I've learned that, I still have love for these people, but speaking to them or showing up for them in a certain way has totally changed. Totally changed. And I'm bringing this up because you can still have a relationship that's not transactional. It's not always, can you do this for me if you do this for me? Or if I do this for you, excuse me. Right? Can you do this for me if I do this for you? It doesn't have to be that way. It could be, hi, how are you doing? Can I just share a conversation with you, Orisha? Or can I have a conversation with you, ancestor? And just sit there and give them your time. Like, the time spent, you can't get back. And I don't know how it is in spirit world because I don't know that stuff. But I know here is time. And when you spend time with yourself in that self-reflection, you are spending time with the ancestors. Okay? And I do think that a lot of times, looking at this card that wanted to pop in, my life is perfect here and now. I'm still learning how to ask for what I need. Some people know exactly how to ask for what they need. And sometimes they do that in a way that can be selfish because they're not thinking about other people's needs. There's no consideration, right? And then on the flip side, sometimes people are overly considerate and not thinking about themselves and their own needs. And we have to find the balance with that. There is something going on with the throat chakra because I feel like I have to burp and I am not in need. So let me just grab some water. Some of you really need to speak up on what you need, right? And some of you really need to just reflect on what you need from other people by having more self-reflection time. Like, figure out, like, okay, what type of friends do you really want? Because when you can figure that out, that's when you can open your heart up to attract that energy. The universe will give you that, but you have to make sense of it, right? Our ancestors can give that to us as well, but you have to make sense of it. You have to declare, like, hey, this is what I want. And that sinks into your heart because that's the belief that you want. And then you magnetize that. So I think it's really time for you. The ancestors are really saying, let's release some of these things that aren't working in our highest good. Let's release some of these emotional blocks here that are being held on to some old beliefs that just ain't cutting it, right? That just ain't cutting it. Because you might be trying to do like ABC, but you have these old beliefs that are XYZ and it's just not aligning, right? If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. So we have the Queen of Cups here, right? And I love this because they tell like a story that connects with a certain Orisha. And this is talking about Yamaye Ogunete. I don't know if I said that right. But it's talking about the creativity, which I love because not too many people talk about the water energy connecting into our creativity. And it does connect with our creativity because the water connects with our emotions. And through understanding our emotions, right, we direct our creative energy. And this is what I do in my my business, where I tap into people's emotions so they can actually understand their gifts, because this also speaks on their gifts, right? Not only their creative gifts, the things that you create with your hands or your senses, but let's tap deeper into the senses, right? Let's talk about the intuition, the intuitive gifts that we have. right? That also connects with our creativity. So it says still waters run deep with this card. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will read the first paragraph. The Queen of Cups is a person of deep thought and often more profound creativity. Though they may at times struggle to express themselves in the words they do not have, this challenge is why can't I read this? Themselves in the words they do not have. This challenge when they are making art. So they don't have this challenge when they're making art, but they have that challenge when they're speaking. Again, like, what did I say? Like, I still kind of feel it in my throat. And this is and this is why I do these readings, because I know that it's something that I need to get out. So within my business, I also help people tap into their creative energy, right? Because I've attracted so many people that can't express the way that they want to express what they make, right? They can't express their gifts. They don't see the value of their gifts, and not seeing the value of their gifts, they don't have the passion to express it and, promote themselves in the way that they need to, in their business. Because there's one side that is, showing off and being in your craft, which is the feminine energy, right? But then there's also a need for that masculine energy, which you promote and you connect and network with people. I've spoken to some entrepreneurs and they're like, yeah, I just do what spirit says and this and that. And it's like, if you want a sustainable business, you have to use your feminine and masculine energy, the balance, okay? And when it comes to this, right, this is also a card of devotion. Can you devote time and energy to your creations? Because if you can do that, that is how you're attracting not only soulmates when it comes to, your love life, but it also comes to those soulmate clients, right? Those customers that truly value what you are creating. Your heart chakra is important in business because not only does it help you understand your own feelings, but it directs and attracts the things that you want, your desires. So by knowing this is something the ancestors really want to let you know. And I really went in on this because I wanted to, dive a little bit deeper. I don't know how long I went in that. I wanted to make this 30 minutes, but let's dive deeper, okay? What else does the ancestors want us to know? What else do the ancestors want us to know? Yeah, there's something going on with the self-care and communication here. Because I'm learning when I start channeling, sometimes I get very tongue-tied. Now, I've been doing this all my life, and the only time that I've really had trouble expressing is because I felt that no one cared. That is a belief that I carried for numerous amount of years, thinking that nobody cared about what I had to say. You know how that can affect you, right? Not only through your throat chakra, your solar plexus, your sacral, right? Let's get one more, Spirit. And I also like to, I have a really nice thing that I like to do in my business where I'm connecting to your chakra blocks, your chakra imbalances, because that's affecting your business. And that's the way that I actually tap in to where you're blocked in your business. So I'm going to turn all these around because I probably picked up the deck some way. But I will say this. The King of Cups is, the King of Pentacles is here. And again, I feel that a lot of you have been working hard, right? Y'all been working hard and not having enough fun. But you've been working too hard. You're not carrying back to yourself, and you're working so hard that you're not seeing the value of self. You're not seeing how abundant you are. You're working because you feel that you're not enough. You're working because you feel that you haven't done enough. You're working because you feel that, like maybe this is right, but maybe not, and not trusting yourself. right? Going back and forth with the energy, like, oh my God, like, this is what I want. Oh no, this is not what I want. And deep down inside, you know what you want. You really do. Deep down inside, some of you actually do have done a lot of self-healing work, right? But some of you actually need to do the self-healing work and start the self-healing. Start seeing yourself as abundant. Start seeing your creativity as a God-given talent. Start seeing your creativity as what do I want to say here? Your birthright. We all have, it's our birthright to create. You know what I mean? It's our calling. And some of you are just locked in your head with these mental beliefs, right? These limiting beliefs that are stopping you from your soul calling. There is a business idea that needs to be cultivated into something that can be very beneficial for you, can be very beneficial for your lineage to break some of those chains and cycles, right? And also to help you get out of the situation that you're in to truly change your lifestyle. But changing your lifestyle comes with a lot of different cups. Since we have the Two of Cups here, it comes with a lot of different cups. It's almost like the Seven of Cups in a way. It's like, whoa, what the, because there's so many different things. But where do I start? You start from within. You start connecting with the unknown. Even though that sounds kind of weird, but it's like, I'll say start connecting with the unseen. Because it's not always about seeing to believe it. It's about feeling to believe it. And it's about listening to the call, right? And that call can feel frightening because it almost feels like it's a pressure on you to like do this and do XYZ. But we're forgetting certain things that are coming up that are subconscious or unconscious that are blocking us from what we need to move forward. And our ancestors, right? They hold these keys within our feelings and our emotions and connection to the subconscious. And they come out. They come up when you hit these milestones of new things. And this is why shadow work is important. Because not only does the shadow work help you release and become aware of your subconscious and or your unconscious, right, thoughts and limiting beliefs, it connects with ancestral things. Okay, so let's see what we can do. I'm just going to pull like a card or so for relationship blocks. Oh, let's get two of those out. 1 second. Okay. Oh my gosh. Didn't we say this earlier? It says unlovable. Practice radical self-acceptance and love yourself with all your flaws. Doing this will help. The shadow work definitely helps with that, you know, because there's that unlovable belief comes from a lot of inner child healing that needs to be done. And a lot of the inner child, like, from the past, you may have acquired this belief around you being unlovable because, you know, your parents didn't spend as much time. They didn't see you. They may have abused you. I don't know. There's a lot of different scenarios that ties into it. But it definitely can tie into the core wounds of abandonment, the core wounds of rejection, neglect, right? What else? Trust. Core wounds of, I'm forgetting one more. I don't know. But if you oh my God, what is this? Soulmate only. You have many soulmates. Who would be great for you? There's not just one. Exactly. It's not. And going into twin flame stuff, it will totally get you into, that's a whole nother video that we would do that on. But I do feel that there are soulmates that are more impactful than others, right? And it really depends on your journey, where you're at in your journey. It depends on the choices you make as well. It really does. And I do feel that a lot of you here are looking for a community that feels like you can connect with people that feel like soulmates. And I do feel that you do and can, because not all soulmates are romantic. They're really not. Not all soulmates are romantic. I believe that, and I truly believe that I've had relationships with soulmates that were never romantic in my eyes. Like, I actually, like, yo, some of my family members are soulmates. Like, some people may disagree, but I know. And I'm saying that because they're on your soul journey, okay? And some of y'all might not even know that, you know, you might have had relationships with your, you know, you might have a brother as a husband in your past life. You don't know that, right? We don't know that. If you do know that, it's because you went and got that past life regression, okay? But it helps define your relationship and understand the relationship of things, the people that are in the life. And everyone here in your proximity and the people that you meet are all playing a part for you to learn the lesson. Let's get 2. No, let's get 3. I definitely heard 3. So, last thing I want to pull is some business advice, okay? Can't get this out. They're very stiff. You see how thick this deck is? Oh my gosh. All right. Oh, well, we got the personal brand again. Very interesting. I said again because a few weeks ago I pulled this for myself. And this is what I'm doing for my business. I help people see themselves as their personal brand. How I help them hold their own torch, you know, because being your authentic self brings you to your personal brand regardless, hands down. Now, how you have all the moving parts to that is different. It's a different system, and that's something that I would love to explain and share for someone, right? But these are some things that you connect with spiritually so you can help understand yourself in a way that is not influenced by the outside people, places, and things, right? We do have to de-educate ourselves from what we learned about ourselves through the limiting beliefs that we hold. And I know I just made up a word, but I know you understand. Accessibility. Accessibility drives traffic and growth in technology. That's a proven trend in technology. So is your product or service accessible and exclusive? How can you make your business more accessible? Discovery, onboard, tutorials, usage. This is nice. Support. I haven't seen this card yet. Special needs. This is really nice. Accessibility is how can you relate this? Once you have the personal brand, right? Once you have yourself and you know what you need for yourself and how to be like, hey, I am 1,000% raw, then you do have to, on the flip side, right, create an idea that is profitable. Not all ideas are profitable. They're not. And the way that they're profitable is by making your ideas accessible to others of what they need. And when you shine your light, it not only helps you, but it also helps other people, right? We were here again, co-creating. We're here to co-create. That's why creativity is our birthright. Once we create things and understand our purpose, understand our truth self through creativity, it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a double entendre gift because it's a gift to you and it's a gift to give to others. And once you give it to others, you are also feeling so abundant because, you know, you're giving that gift because you want to give that gift. You feel the genuinity of sharing. And that's a service. That's a soul called business. That is a spiritual entrepreneurship. in my eyes. And if you're feeling a vibe, I love for you to be that. Inspiration. I don't have to say less. That's how inspiration is inspiring others, sharing that light and sharing your spirit with other people so they can learn to do what they need to do. That's what inspiration is. I was looking at something the other day that was talking about the difference between influence and inspiration. And they basically, in short, were talking about inspiration doesn't influence people to do things. It sparks something within you so that you can see yourself in a way that is you actually doing something out of your own uniqueness, not from somebody else's copy and paste type of thing. So I don't know how that lands for you, but I do want to share these questions. What inspires and motivates you? What are the best feelings, experiences, and products you've ever had? Can you transfer anything about those into a customer experience? There's something to think about here within your business. And this is where I'm going to leave this right here. And I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, definitely comment. You already know I love the comments. And sharing is caring. If you know anybody that can use this or benefit this video in any way, shape, or form, I'd love for you to do so. My platform does have a referral program. So when you refer someone, you can actually get gifts and discounts and all that stuff. So check out all the links below. And until next time, I'm outie. Peace.